Adam, I'm guessing you won't be among those thousands and tens of thousands lining up hoping to get a selfie with the King and Queen, but do you think that this visit could make it easier or harder for the Republican movement?
How are you, Caroline? Happy New Year, Eric, too. I hope you are well, mate. No, I probably won't be out there handing over flowers and getting a selfie myself. Absolutely back the right of anyone who's a fan of the British monarchy to do so. Prince Charles is an internationally significant figure, and his fans will turn out in the same way that if Barack Obama or any other significant person did. But it's interesting to note that when he does that, it'll be something like 770 days since he became Australia's head of state. 770 days before he's managed to squeeze in a visit to the Australia of which he is king. He's managed to visit Kenya. He's managed to visit France. When he gets here, it will be the first time Australia's head of state has set foot in Australia since 2011. I've got no trouble with an internationally significant person coming to Australia, and he will be greeted warmly and respectfully because we're that sort of people. But in 2024, should we really see our head of state in Australia once every decade? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. And it's not surprising it's taken him that long to get here. He's very busy because, as Eric pointed out, he's the head of state of 15 different countries. If, like me, you believe head of state is sufficiently important that it should be a full-time job, the fact that it's taken King Charles of Australia that long to get to Australia shows that it's clearly not even a part-time job on the many responsibilities that man has.
Might be slightly, it might be slightly easier to get to France on a Eurostar, but Eric, give me your response to that.
Yeah, look, allow me to correct Adam, and Adam knows this full well. Our head of state is the Governor-General of Australia. He is an Australian, in Australia, full-time job. King Charles happens to be our sovereign. Now, Gough Whitlam himself agreed that the Governor-General is Australia's head of state. So it astounds me that the Australian Republican movement cannot accept that which Andrew Inglis Clark said when he helped write the Australian Constitution, that the Governor-General's powers don't come from the monarch, but in fact from the Constitution as voted for by the Australian people. 88 years later, Gough Whitlam himself said that that was the correct interpretation, and the Governor-General is our head of state. And so why the Republican movement cannot grasp and accept that which is legal fact, which even Gough Whitlam acknowledges, shows the paucity of the Republican argument, because they have to create falsehoods to try to give some credibility to their campaign. Our head of state is very clearly the Governor-General, and that's a full-time job appointed by an Australian Prime Minister and then rubber stamped by the Sovereign, but the Governor-General is our state.
Eric, I don't want to run out of time before we get to talk about your calls today for the Assistant Minister for the Republic, Matt Thistlethwaite, who we did invite on the show but was unavailable. You've called for the government to abolish his position. Why are you doing that?
Well, it seems somewhat incongruous that somebody that has sworn allegiance to the constitutional monarchy is then committed to its abolition. Second, the Prime Minister will undoubtedly be at every single photo opportunity seeking to bask in the reflected glory of King Charles III, yet behind the scenes he's got a taxpayer-funded assistant minister costing the Australian people, I reckon, at least $500,000 a year, $500,000, to propagate something that the Australian people have clearly shown that they do not want.